The Dream have lost to the Aces. This is expected and also a unexpected type of loss. Okay, and we're gonna get into it. 84 to 85 by 1 point. Holy shit. You already know on the right, you can see the Angel Reese conversation. Yes, we know we gotta have a conversation. Well, it's really just like, some of the things we've been talking about since the beginning of the season, like the past week or so, right? But it's really been Joe in this game, right? So they lost by 1 point. Um, and it was here's what I'll talk about. Let's talk about the last play, right? The last play that was being held, right? The last play that happened. Unfortunately, Carl knew he was gonna low key knew he was gonna do this. He gave it to Alicia Gray. He gave it to Alicia Gray, and the other Gray, the Chelsea Gray, actually heard them try to give it to Alicia Gray, right? So it was very, they already knew what the play was from the dream. That's basically what happened. Now, it even with them hearing the play or like knowing what's gonna happen, yeah, I mean, they knew what was gonna happen. It's predictable. Go to Alicia Gray, right? Best player. She's having the best game today, right? Yeah, pretty predictable. But also, um, they kind of messed up on the inbound pass. Yeah, they. I wouldn't say Angel couldn't get well, she couldn't get the ball out the first time they tried it, but there was just plays like players were not where they were supposed to be allegedly because of Ryan Howard being out. Right, that's also another thing we'll talk about. But yeah, so there's that, and then they passed it to Alicia Gray. They should have passed it to Pow Pow. Pow Pow. I mean, it's not really a good game somewhat for some of the dream, right? But Pow Pow was on a heater the last couple of minutes, right? And she was getting some shots and, some good plays. Pow Pow, they should have gave it to Pow Pow. What happened in their first game that they won when they won by 1 point, which they could have won by 1 point here? They gave it to Pow Pow, or in Pow Pow made the shot, you know? Pretty chill shot. Nobody can get the shot off against I think it was the Lynx. She got it off. She did a midi, and then, Lisa Gray did a block, and Angel did a block, and they won the game. Should have gave it to Pow Pow. That was a big mistake. Don't know what Carl was thinking with that. And then also, we already know Angel was having a bad game, and um, he should have kept Angel out the game. I'm sorry. And here's the thing. Yeah, I'm an Angel Reese fan. I know. Yes, I know. But I know when she has bad games. We all know about this bad game. And we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, they should have kept Angel out. I love you, Angel. She did have good passes and stuff, but at least in the last play, right? You got 3 seconds. Um, at least in that last play, and I feel like Medina should have, closed out. I don't think it would have made it. Angel has good, court vision, right? And gave Pow Pow that three. I think that shot was a really good shot from Pow Pow, right? But I think overall, it still should have been Medina or keep Medina and Angel in at the same time, right? But on that last play, 3 seconds. If Medina was there, you could pass it to Medina. Or even, yeah, keep Angel in if she wanted to make the inbound, right? Throw it up. It should not have been like a little pass to the side. It should have been, they should have just threw it up in the air, right? Get it to Medina. Medina could have tossed it in like that. Or you do the same thing, but you give it to Pow Pow. But they wanted to give it to Alicia Gray. And then the players, they were confused too on that. So that was just like pretty bad. They could have got the game right there, and it just sucks because they were on a heater, bro. They were on a heater the last like 2-3 minutes, man. That's crazy. So that's unfortunate, but the game shouldn't have been this close in the first place. And yeah, um, Angel did not have a good game. She did not have a good game. Um, as you can see, yeah, not the best game. not the best game. I'll just move it over a little bit right here. Yeah, I don't know why they show the points on the right side. It's kind of annoying me. Angel, yeah, not the best game. Or one of the worst games she has played. I think somebody said that in like a little space thing or whatever, and I was like, no, no, she had a worse game. Where I don't think she scored anything for one game, but I mean, that's it's probably like her first season or whatever. I don't remember when it happened, but yeah. And we just look at it right here. 1-8. That is not good. Angel's Fang, if she was not it's the layups. It is the layups. Yeah. Um, and here's the thing too, right? Um, I'm not really giving her a big pass either because this was still a very winnable game. One of them layups could have won the game, right? I mean, you know how if a team is winning or in the lead, things change, right? It's not always gonna be 1-1. Like, oh, they would have won if this happened, right? Because then Aces would have changed shit up or whatever. They would have Kennedy playing a little bit longer or some shit. I don't know. But even so, one of them layups went in, they would have won the game. That 1-8 killed it. Honestly, it definitely killed the game. That was not good. 12 FG. Holy shit, right? And people are frying her on Twitter and shit, and yada yada. But let's actually do a little in-depth, right, analysis. Because I started watching basketball because of Age Reese, so I'm I'm not really the best expert, but I'm just going off of what I've seen in the game, right? So I already knew Aja and Angel were just gonna Angel on Aja, right? Angel on Aja the entire game, but that actually couldn't be played here because the refs, they kind of changed their officiating, right? They're being more um lenient on the offensive player, right? So offensive player is gonna get the call more times now, right? Instead of a defensive player. So that's one thing, right? They had Angel on Aja, and Aja, right, trying to score, Angel trying to do defensive plays, and they're calling everything against Angel, right? And Angel plays like a little aggressive too, generally too. She can't be doing that. And hopefully this game she realizes yet she can't really play the same as she was the past 2 years in terms of like trying to she also trying to get the foul. Sometimes she shouldn't really be getting the foul. She just need to make the lay or like the play, but we'll talk about that in a second. But you get what I'm saying, right? So she was just on Aja, and Aja was getting calls. She started getting a couple calls in the end, but I mean she was already too late. Like Angel was already in her head, right? Because she again she's in the paint too in the beginning of the game, and they already know Angel Reese, go for the lay. She doesn't do midi. She doesn't shoot any farther from the rim. She's just mainly gonna be up right under the fucking hoop. So she is gonna get fucking guarded like crazy in there. And she did try and do some little pump fakes, but that also got her, her own foul calls too, which she really shouldn't have gotten. Like, I mean, it was Naz too. Naz didn't have a good game either. I mean, she only got one more point than Angel. But that's the thing, right? Because they're guarding, they have to guard, Aja, in the paint and shit, and it's just, and again, right? Angel taking, trying to guard Aja, and she also had to go not in the paint either for like I think the second half and beyond. That's why she didn't get, her double double or like, she was like, still 9 points. But you get what I'm saying? Like those rebounds. It's because she had to guard Aja, and Aja was trying to shoot away from the basket, right? She was on 3-point line, and so Angel had to, she couldn't get as many rebounds, that probably would have helped the game, got more points for the dream. Um, right? Because the perimeter defense in the beginning was not good. It was not good at all on the guards. And yeah, the guards, overall, I mean, they played better than, paint players. Medina had a good game though, but generally, I mean, offensively, that's what they're supposed to do. But um, they weren't really defensively. getting the other guards, right? The Aces guards, Chelsea, even Joel Lloyd was chucking shit up, like in a positive way, chucking in a positive way, right? Getting shots off, which is crazy. I was just like, damn, even Jules doesn't having a good game. Um, and then they have Chennedy Carter. They have Chennedy Carter. If they, it's Chennedy fucking Carter. Like it's gonna, So, um, and surprisingly, for Kennedy's stats, right? They kind of, and Becky not playing her too much, right? Because she's not really starting over Jackie. Jackie had a terrible game. She had a worse. She was zero. She didn't do. She didn't score anything, right? She was 0 and 12 too. So there is also that. But yeah, so there is that for Angel, right? In terms of like she's having to guard Asia. I already knew low key like, the last time she played Asia, I think it was last year. Defensively, right? She kept Asia to like 18 points, which is really really good. I don't think they won the game though. I don't really remember, but her scoring for that game wasn't even the best. It's just her main thing was to be on Asia, but she couldn't do that really this game, right? Because she kept fouling out. The refs are, very sensitive. And then um she also got in her head too because she traveled like twice. It happened on the other side of the court too, but they're really, yeah, they were really watching Angel. But she also she does like do a little annoying travel too, from the past couple of games. And she, when she's trying to drive to the rim, um definitely, it got into her head, and then her missing the layups too got into her head. She should have, at the very least, in terms of possible, because I knew it was going to be, in terms of like getting, some points, I knew it was going to be bad because it was already bad against the Aces before, guarding Asia and shit, right? And trying to get shit in. As I remember, she was driving, trying to drive past Asia, and she um, kind of waited to put the ball up. I don't blame her for that one, and she missed the shot, but I don't blame her because she went up in that one moment when you're supposed to. She was going to be blocked by Asia. Asia was right there, right? So, and then she missed that, and it's just, yeah, like literally, it is basically, Angel on Asia. But the thing is, yeah, she got like 3 fouls. So she had to be sat out, a lot of, the second quarter. Even Naz picked up 3 fouls in the second quarter. I think like half the team was getting, like 3 fouls very early, right? In terms of defense, they're trying to do defensive plays and shit. Um, not I mean, it's just hard. God, it's the fucking Aces, right? It's the fucking Aces. So, not really. And the funny part is, yeah, they were like within a 1 point margin of winning. So that was, it's still good. And they're missing Bree and they're missing Ryan. That's another thing. They're missing Bree Jones. Um, you know, lately or this entire, past 2 weeks or so. And Ryan is not, Ryan, those are two, like the main two starter players. Those are the main, two players, and they're missing, right? So just everything is just kind of, you know I'm even surprised we got the 2 wins. That's what I'm saying, right? In the first place, we're 2-1 now, but damn, oh my god. But yeah, Angel had to be sat out, and yeah, she needs to make delays. Like even with her, current, you know, even with me knowing that she was gonna have a bad game offensively, she should have made at least 3 more shots. At minimum, I can remember 2 shots she should have got in, right? One of her last shots, she should have got that one in. Just kind of annoying. I think it rolled out though. But she should be at least at like 40 FG, right? At least 2 more made shots she should have had. But she got in her head too early. This happens a lot. She gets in her head and then she plays bad. And usually she comes back in the fourth quarter and, makes some plays. But she just didn't really come back. And then also she was sad because she had 3 fouls already, right? So she couldn't even play, as much. You should see her at like 29 minutes. Yeah, because she had to be sat out um for a lot, and Naz too, for a little bit because still got a lot of time. But again, she just it could not play the entire time she should have been playing because fouls, right? And then she's playing poorly. She can't make delays, right? So she has to make delays. She has to make delays. That's the thing. That's the basic thing. That's the number one. And I get it too. It's against the Aces. You're against Asia. The refs are very sensitive currently, right? In terms of, calling all these, fouls that should not be fouls and not calling other fouls that should be fouls, right? Um, and then, it's being like first home game with Atlanta too, right? You got these people watching, and then it's also like first like big televised game too, right? It's on a, the first game of the day. Yeah, so you got a lot of eyes on you. It's she's just in her head, right? And now after this game, it's probably gonna be worse mentally, low key. Yeah, I hope she got a therapist because they are going after her, bro. Like it is bad. And truth be told, it is kind of it just wasn't her best play, even if she had like 3 and 8 or whatever, I would be fine with her stats. Low key, I would be, because again, guarding Aja, and she can't get the rebounds, right? So they can get more points from the guards and shit, right? Because Aja's on the perimeter line. So I don't blame her. And then Naz is also having trouble too in the paint because they're just all over them, you know. So I don't really. It's just that's just how it turned out, you know. Um, Naz didn't play a great game. Angel didn't play a great game either, right? Even though you know, again, you got all these things going against you. You should have made at least a couple more lays, right? Just a couple more, two minimum, right? And then you would have possibly got the win. You would have possibly got the win. Um, but either way, I mean, again, you can't really, what I said earlier, right? In terms of people changing things up if the other team is in the lead or not, right? So if we're going off of Carl's yeah, Carl. Oh my God, Carl. Uferinos, but yeah, just not the best game. Um, you know, kind of unfortunate because it was really, really close in the end. Um, it just sucks, man. It really does suck. And Ryan was out too, unfortunately. It definitely could have been a one game. Yeah. Angel got, and that's the funny part because they actually did do better with Angel on the bench, and that's why I was saying like he should have kept Angel on the bench for um at least, I mean, the last play, right? He kept her out for a good portion of the fourth. Um but the last play. I was gonna say the last minute or two because she did give Pow Pow that three, right? And she still has good playmaking, but Pow Pow should have got the ball. Carl should have never gave it to Alicia Gray. Angel should have been benched for Okot, right? Because you're gonna have good games, you're gonna have bad games, right? And this is definitely a bad game. Definitely a bad game. And I just read a comment. Angel not the reason they lost. Her boards and assists. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like what are the comments that happened? If they did take one of her, it was either an assist away or like I think it was a rebound. She should have 9 rebounds, but like, um, either way, yeah. Again, like just offensively, she is becoming a liability. She is becoming a liability, but I can't really say too much because again, this is one of the eight versus the Aces. I already knew her FG was not gonna be good, right? So I can't. She does need to make the layups, though. I mean, that's just what needs to happen. We already know her defense is way better than our offense, so we're just gonna end it right like that, right? Um, she had a bad game, one of the worst games, right? 12 FG, not the best. 9 points, 8 rebounds, should be 9, should be 9 for 9, right? Some assists and stuff. She did play good D on Asia. She did bring, kept Asia from shooting more than 20, which is good in my it's good in my book. But offensively, she should have made a couple more lays, right? She should have made a couple more lays. She needs to develop because here's the thing, they're in the paint, they're gonna be like, coming after you in the paint. Um, and she keeps throwing the ball like from under. She keeps bringing it up from under, and she just needs to like just throw it in, bro. Just throw it in because that's gonna get blocked, or it's just not gonna go in the way you want it to go in. All right. I think she attempted some pump fakes, but then that, again, like she kept going down with the ball, and like, that cost her like foul trouble and shit, right? And then she also dribbled too much with the ball, right? She just kept it low too much when she got the ball. Immediately she just needs to throw it in, bro. Like just throw it up higher, right? And that's also again like she keeps throwing it from like the waist, like, so just don't don't do that, but you don't do that. And yeah, she needs to develop she did go for the three. She hesitated though, and that's her thing. It's all a mental thing from her, right? Because she used to do threes and stuff in college and middies and shit, right? But now it's a mental thing. She has no confidence in like her middies or like 3 pointers, and it's just like you got to start throwing it. You got to start throwing them in. You can't rely on the lay. And even with the lay, you need to get the lays in too. So she needs to develop a midi, but even before the midi, right? She needs to work on her board work on delays, right? And I know she's getting guarded like crazy, and like she's not getting a lot of foul calls, and she got mad at that too. She almost got a technical. Low-key, she's talking to the ref. She she need a therapist. I don't know if she got a therapist or not, because this the Twitter is going crazy right now, right? And the media gonna be going crazy against her right now for this game, right? Especially because it's like nationally televised too. So yeah, she need a little therapist. She need to talk to the woman. She need to talk to the woman, because yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, besides her having a bad game, she do mentally, she do, right? But she needs to start doing the three. She needs to stop hesitating. She did do the three, or like I said, she hesitated on it. For a little bit more oomph, that would have went in, but just a tiny bit more. But she needs to do middies. She needs to do the three, but before we do that, she has to finish at the rim. She has to work on work on a pump fake, right? Too, because especially after today, and then she needs to stop dribbling when she immediately gets the ball. She can do that too, right? Because you see Medina do that, and then she get the ball into a couple times today. Medina had a really good game. I think she had like 14 points, 11 rebounds. She had double double. Yeah, again, I mean, it's just, again, it's the same stuff we know about her, but it's, she has to, a lot of this is mental. A lot of it is mental. And then also, people don't know, she has a rod in her leg. She had a rod in her leg, I think, in college, right? Or right before college, or during college, or something like that, right? So she can't really jump too much either. That's unfortunate. And then she got like screws in her foot too, I think like a season or two ago. And then she also got screws in her wrist, I think like a season ago, right? So it's just like, oh man, oh muddy, oh muddy. But overall, again, this is just the third game. They got time until the next game. I don't know why it's like a game a week for the Dream, right? They just not. They're gonna have back-to-back games. Next week, I think, starting next week. So yeah, but it's just, man. So the main thing, we work on the lays. The Dream, they were missing Ryan. They're missing Bree. Unfortunately, right? The Aces, I didn't even really talk about it. Yeah, I mean, Jackie was 0-12. Yeah, she's 0-12. That's why I'm saying, like, if they played Chennedy longer, or if I just stops like throwing the ball to Jackie, and like, you know, then the gap should have been a bit bigger, and it wouldn't have been this fucking close, you know. But also you also got Angel, and she's like missing some shots too. So yeah, anyways, I'm done yapping. That's it. What do you think? Comment below. Yeah. Um, is this still it's still a playoff team. Like again, we're missing two people. We're missing two people, and the Aces got all their players, or at least, the main ones, the good ones, and they got Chennedy Carter, right? And so yeah. All right, that's all I gotta say about it. I hope Angel's mental was good, dude. But yeah, this was not her best game. It was one of her worst games. Again, you have good games, you have bad games, right? Shit happens. You move on, right? Um, I'm just mad at the last play that Carl decided to do, right? All the bullshit aside, right? It should have been gone to Pow Pow. Angel should have been left on the bench. As much as I love Angel, she should have been left on the bench. It should have kept Medina in. At least for the last play, because Angel, again, I won't say the entire like last 2-3 minutes. Angel did give it to Pow Pow. That was good, and I think she did like some good rebounds and assists at the end too. So, all right, I'm done yapping. Bye. This is longer than I wanted it to be.